welcome back to Tales from Antiquity and the Modern Age with Pragmatic Perfection. I'm your host, Austin, and I just want to welcome you back to the show. We've got a new episode here today. I have picked out a story from Aesop. Specifically, it's titled The Fisherman Piping. But before I get right into that, I have to say, last night I went out with a few friends of mine, saw that new Avengers movie. Oh boy, that was really good. I think of the 3 Avengers films that have been made to date. The first original one, Age of Ultron, and Infinity War. Infinity War, I believe, is the best. And it's got some good storytelling. The action, I thought, was so tight. The texturing on the CGI was incredible. And there's a lot of, it's kind of a sad movie. I'm not going to spoil anything, but people die, okay? Imagine that. Characters do die. But there's such an emotional aspect to it because you've seen these characters for so long and, you've become so attached to them. So I think that if you're a future film connoisseur and you want to make films in the future, take a look at this movie, take some notes, because that is how you effectively put that emotional punch in there when you remove a character. It's not just some cardboard placeholder that when you remove it, it's like, okay, well, another one bites the dust. But no, in this one, when they're gone, man, it's like, wow, they're gone. My goodness. But enough about Avengers. Let's get on with Aesop. The Fisherman Piping. A fisherman, skilled in playing music, took his flute and his nets to the seashore. Standing on a projecting rock, he played several tunes in the hope that the fish, attracted by his melody, would of their own accord dance right into his net, which he had placed below. At last, having long waited in vain, he laid aside his flute, and casting his net into the sea, made an excellent haul of fish. When he saw them leaping about in the net upon the rock, he said, "Oh, you most perverse creatures! When I piped, you would not dance, but now that I have ceased, you do so merrily." The end. Well, this version I'm reading off right now does not have a pre-written moral, but I've thought about it a little bit, and I think there are some applications to our own lives here. I think there's 2 ways you could view this. One would be it's wasted time that he spent on trying to lure the fish in with his amazing piping skills. Or you could say it's a lesson learned because now he knows what not to do. See, because there is value in learning what not to do, because then you save yourself the trial and effort in the future, and you know that's something that's not going to work. However, it's only effective if that lesson stays learned. The other flip side of that, as I mentioned, was, hey, it's all wasted time. Really, you could cut this either way. In my opinion, I believe this story is kind of imparting a little bit of another moral lesson as well, that the simple way oftentimes works the best, that we can overthink things, we can try to come up with the new sleek and hip way and innovate, trying to figure out something new, when really it's the inglorious but highly effective olden ways of doing things that it gets the job done. So I could almost put my own moral on this, that it's tried and true over new and untested. And I've heard that said before, but I think it rings very applicable in this story, and I think we could even apply that to our own lives, that if we have a task at hand and we have to get it done, let's say, and that depends on the context. Is it something that has to get done? And in this fisherman story, I would say, hey, if he's fishing and that's his livelihood, yeah, he has to get that done. But you could also say that if he is experimenting and trying to learn if there's a possible better way to catch fish, then that's worthwhile as well. So it really comes down to your priorities. Do you want to be safe and sure? Or do you want to take a little risk to see if there's a possible way to improve upon it? So that's kind of my thoughts on it right now. I think it's an interesting story, and it's one that I had not heard before, but I'm glad I've heard it now. And with that, I am now brought to the technical part of the show. I must say, this is the second day recording in my new studio, and I've got actually a new mic placement, which I don't believe I had specifically mentioned previously. In times past, the last week or so, I've been using my Blue Yeti microphone, which is the mic of choice for myself. A great entry-level microphone if you're wanting to get into it. But I had been using it with the standard cradle, if I can call it that, it comes with when you purchase it. But now that I'm in my new studio, I have rigged up a contraption where I have a mic stand, not one of those stands that clips onto your table and is like super adjustable. It's one that's sitting on the floor. I got myself a shock mount, the Radius 2 from Blue, so I knew it would be compatible with my microphone. And I've got that set up in a way so that the microphone is suspended upside down and still using the cardioid setting, so it only picks up what's right in front of it. And I have to say, I think this works super effective. I've got a little bit of a different pop filter on it. It's a foam. Here, maybe you can hear a little bit. Yeah, that's me just kind of rubbing a little bit. It's like a foam. I don't want to call it like a condom on it, but it kind of is a little bit. And so the disc cylinder pop filter is gone because when I did some tests, it was far too muffled and it messed with the sound too much. And so that's gone. And we're just using this new pop filter, and I think it makes great work. It really, it's putting in the effort. So, hey, you see? I'm messing around. This is my own fisherman story. I was messing around, seeing if I can make my work more effective. And in my version of the tale, with me as the main character, it seems to be working. So there you go. There's the ancient version, and then there's the modern version with me. And in the modern version, it seems to be working. So take what you will from the story and apply it how you like. To wrap out the technical details, though, I've also am starting to use my show notes again. I got myself a little miniature whiteboard, which I really like. I've always loved whiteboards. I think they're great. I love chalkboards too. Something just kind of nostalgic about it. And instead of just using like a tablet or writing up notes on my computer. And so I had all my bullet points listed out on what I wanted to include for the moral of the story. And I think it's highly effective. Well, with that, I am brought to the end of this episode. Just want to thank you all for tuning in to listen with me today. Appreciate you spending your time. And I'll just tell you this, that we've got more episodes coming up, so I will be sure to catch you in the next episode. Take care.